So now that we loaded up Mary's information into our database and contextually, we kind of need a good email template. And this is an email I shot out, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, to an expired listing that I actually set an appointment with. So this is the note I sent. So basically, start with just a greeting. You want to mention, obviously, have their names in it, make it personalized, so it doesn't look like bulk mail, and then you mention the property that they're selling. And you mentioned some specifics. So it looks like you've done your homework. So they actually had their house on the market for, I think it was like 8 or 9 months. And so you want to put that in there so you're talking directly to them. So I also put, that I specialize in listings that other agents fail to sell. Now, this is a good point to bring up whether you're on the phone or in an email, because they're probably not too happy with real estate agents at this point in time, because they're a failed sale. So, and they're, getting called by probably a few people about reselling it, but no one's really selling the value. So you want to make sure that you come off as a professional of someone who takes over these kinds of properties. I bring up my credentials. I validate myself. We got offer a full asking in just 42 days on the market on one of my properties the day before I sent this email to them, and that's it's a true story. That house was on the market for 6 months, and we got it moved in 42 days. So you also want to leverage strength of your brokerage. So some of you are going to have a big brokerage. I belong to a big brokerage. That's where I hang my license. Some people, are one or two man shops. I get it. But what you want to do is leverage that. Say, hey, I'm into selling houses. My brokerage sells houses. We sell houses. You're just reiterating that because that's what they didn't do and that's what they want is a sold house. So I mentioned that we sold over $600 million in property last year. And then this is where, after you validate and you throw out a couple of those facts, you start separating yourself from other agents by saying, I offer staging consultations. I do professional photography. I use text marketing to drive buyers into showings. I promote mega open houses. I also pay hundreds a month to actually feature listings on Trulia and Zillow. And by saying these things, I'm just keep on adding more and more value. So it makes it more and more believable that, I'm the guy to sell their house. And I'm not just trying to slam a sign in the yard and, hopefully I'm the lucky guy that, buys, gets the house sold. I'm actually showing that value. Another thing a lot of clients like to be assured of, and this is like in my area and I know it's everywhere, is are you going to be around? And I like to sell houses around where I live. I do sell houses in other areas as well, but I like to have the core of my business where I live in the area. So I reassure them, it's like, I'm out and about all the time. I'm a part of the community. I live down the street from you. I'm not from 45 minutes away and then trying to sell your house, and I really don't know what's going on. I give you a call if there's ever an offer. Because a lot of clients in my area, that's what they've had an issue with, is just kind of a detached agent that was kind of far off. So I kind of let them know that, hey, I'm in the area, and I'm here for you both physically and professionally on this venture. So, and then I just kind of wrap it up and say, I love the opportunity to show you how professional moves property. I'm in the business of selling, not listing homes. So, a lot of people will say, hey, let me list it. Can I list your property? I love the opportunity to list your property. It's not bad, but customers and clients don't want their homes listed. They want them sold. So you have to stay in that positive frame of mind and lead them down that path. Another thing that I put in there is statistics. So sometimes agents have a hard time delivering value to customers or potential clients. They don't separate enough. So I always take, the home sold statistics or inventory shrinkage statistics, something I can screenshot that's real easy, doesn't take me a lot of effort, and I attach it to the email. That way, they're getting a little bit of something into free knowledge. I'm building value for them. And again, like I said, separating myself from the pack. So what I would do is I would take this email and I'd basically just, copy and paste this into our bucket for Mary now. So basically what I'm going to do, and I can have this set up to automatically do it, but I like to keep it a little bit more, personal. So I'm going to have to change some of this. I also like to say don't give up in the subject line, just for the simple fact with this one, it's a first contact. They're going to open it. They're going to look at it. They don't know who I am. don't give up what, they're asking themselves, and they get in here and they start seeing the deal. So obviously I'm going to have to edit out, this here and put in, whatever address theirs is. This isn't the right one. I'm just using this for effect. You're going to have to edit some of this stuff, and obviously I didn't put another one on yesterday. It was this week. I don't like to lie to clients. And just kind of like do all the rest of the other stuff, is pretty boilerplate. But just go ahead and view it, make sure that you have everything correct. Make sure you're reaching out to them personally. She actually came off the market, a month ago? So, you want to came off the market about 6 weeks ago. And so basically, you just want to keep on, like I said, refining it out, putting that stuff in. This is going to be a good email to send to our client to get the ball rolling. It's not too long. What's really cool about attaching files, if I do want to attach a file here, I just click on attach file. It brings up the picker. And then basically I can just drag files. I can get them from my Dropbox, I can get them from my Google Drive, Evernote, anywhere, and put the files here. So I'm not going to upload one right now, but as you see, you can drag it and drop it, or you can just go shoot and find one here. But it works out very well. So now that we have all that, one cool thing about Contactually is it's going to let me know when she opens it, which is great, so we know that we had the right email address. If she never opens the email, even though it's a valid email, maybe I'm gonna have to make that phone call maybe tomorrow if she doesn't see the email. I like to use the email as the hinge, though, when I do call them and say, hey, I sent you an email, had some information in it. Did you have a chance to look at it? They say yes or no. It doesn't really matter what they say because you're using yourself as a hinge, and a hinge is something a reason why you're calling. I'm not just calling because I'm bloodthirsty on selling your house. I'm calling because your house came off the market. I sent you an email about it that detailed out some information, about the market, and now I was hoping we could talk about that email. And, use yourself as a hinge as opposed to, whether it's not a referral, right? So a lot of people like email. They like to get back to you better and say, yep, let's set up a time. Another thing I like to do on the second or third contact is, hey, I'm going to be in the area on Thursday between noon and 7, and I'd like to set up an appointment to come by the house then. I'd like to use those tactics in my email as well, because if you say, hey, get back to me when you want to talk sometime, they're never going to do that, especially if you haven't made any contact yet. So the first email is the feeler. You hit them up a couple more times. They start responding. Then you start locking down times. They say, well, I'm not available Thursday. Okay, how about Friday? And then you go from there. But this is the first outreach to the client. This is a good template to use. Again, this template is going to be the same as if you called as well. Make sure that, you make sure they're having a good day. Make sure that you have a couple specifics about the property. Maybe have the listing pulled up in front of you so you can, talk about how awesome their backyard is, or just something specific about it. Validate yourself. Use your brokerage to validate you. Validate your numbers if you're new to the business. Be bright, cheerful on the phone. Then start separating yourself. I offer all these things. If you weren't getting these things, that's maybe why your house didn't sell. I don't know. And if they ask you what you think their house should have sold for, you're like, well, I'd have to actually come and see it. You never offer those numbers over the phone. You don't know what condition the house is in. You haven't ran your comps yet. Just keep pushing for that listing appointment, and you will get it, especially when you deliver this kind of value. If you're not the person that's going to be listing it next, you'll at least be one of the 5 or 3 or 5 they interview to do it. So keep doing that separation, and then don't forget to drop either statistics in the email or have a couple in front of you when you're on the phone with them and having that conversation and say, hey, it's time to be on the market. We had, our growth is up 17% year over year, 33% month over month, and that's actually what ours was last month for home sales. If you're off the market now, you're missing the wave. You need to be on the market, and they're going to be impressed that you have that just a little bit of information, whether it's in the email or on the phone call. So, and then make sure that you're 100% focused on selling their home, marketing their home, getting their home sold. That's their goal. It should be your goal too. If you guys are aligned, you're that much you're that much more likely to get that listing. You don't want to talk about listing their house. Can I list your house? They're tired of their house being listed. They want it to be sold. So just be careful not to fall back into, real estate agent jargon. Make sure you're speaking to them on, I want to sell your home, and this is how we're going to sell it, and meeting that goal.